It has been said that the Olympic Peninsula is a place where you can stand on a mountaintop in the morning, hike through a rainforest in the afternoon, and watch the sunset on a pristine beach in the evening. A year ago, my wife and I spent a single day circling Olympic National Park and knew that we had to come back. At the time, she was heavily pregnant with our son, and a year later, just before his first birthday, we were back to not only show him the sights, but also take the time to experience more of it for ourselves. We're up in the beautiful Olympic Peninsula, about to do a route that circles the Olympic National Park. I downloaded this route from the internet, and honestly I'm not really sure about it because so far we've crossed it twice and you've dropped your snake. That's why you're looking down. So far we've crossed it twice, and both times it's been very overgrown. In fact, the first time it was so overgrown that I doubt a dirt bike would even want to go through there. And the second time it looked like more of an ATV trail. So we'll have to see how it goes. Thankfully there are plenty of Forest Service roads around here that we can take if my route doesn't end up working out. Our starting point was up in the mountains north of Lake Cushman, and we'd be circling the Olympic National Park clockwise. We were really excited for this trip. We knew there were beautiful spots along the way, and we couldn't have asked for better weather. Coming down from the mountain, we stopped off at a viewpoint overlooking the beautiful lake so my wife could have a final meeting at the job that she just left. Normally, that would be a bad thing, but she had something even better lined up, and time off between the two to really enjoy our adventures. From the lake, we dropped down to the Hood Canal, following it for a short distance south before heading into the Olympic National Forest. As we came around the south side of the Olympics, we saw a lake on the map with several roads marked going down to the shore and thought they would make a really nice place to camp. It was kind of early in the day, but that just gave us more time to play in the water. One of the things I've noticed about traveling around the Olympic National Forest down here on the south side of the national park is that there's not a lot of camping outside of designated campgrounds, national forest campgrounds. So we've struggled. We've noticed maybe in 60, 70 miles that we did today, 2 or 3 places that we could set up to camp by the side of the road, and none of them were very good up until we got to the lake here and came down to the lakefront. There's a little boat launch down here, and there are 3 dispersed campsites out here. We managed to snag the last one. As you can see, the site is a little tight, packed in with the trees here, but it'll do the job. This ended up being a great campsite. I love the setting with the trees all around us and the moss that's hanging off them. Obviously got the water just down the hill that we can go and play in. But unfortunately, the people who've used this particular campsite previously have ruined it a little bit. First of all, they've used the fire pit as a trash can and put bottles in it, broken glass in it. And you know, it's a fire pit's for wood, not trash. And second of all, they have left little white flags marking all the landmines that are left behind. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's little piles of toilet paper all around us behind me. If you're coming somewhere like this, you've got to pack your poop out. You don't leave it here. Same with the toilet paper. If you're way out in nature, then obviously you could potentially bury it, but this is obviously a heavily used site, so that's disgusting. So now we're going to pack up. We got the mosquito tent out, although they weren't too bad last night. Go pack that up, pack the tent up. There's a mosquito like right here at my face after saying that. And we're going to start going up the west side of the national park today. A lot of the roads around the Olympic National Forest are all very similar. There are a few open sections, but for the most part, there's continuous tree cover and dense undergrowth. A few of the roads we traveled had obviously not been cleared in some time, and the undergrowth was starting to reclaim the open space. So we just passed a sign that says that the bridge ahead is closed, and that's a bridge that we needed to continue with our route. So we will have to backtrack, but I noticed when I was looking at the map that there's a little thing here called the world's largest spruce tree. Actually, I should say a big thing here called the world's largest spruce tree. So we figured it's not often that you get to see that. So we'll stop and we'll take a little look. Look at that face. Yeah, it's pretty big. So anyway, let's go try and find a beach. Well, we made it down to the beach, and it's his first ever beach. He's seen the ocean before, but has never seen sand. And he's not really sure what to make of it. I don't think he likes sitting in it, but he likes kind of pushing it around with his feet. So now we've hung out here for a bit. We need to find a place to camp. We parked at the national park campground and just walked down outside of the national park, because obviously we're still not allowed to film in national parks, being a YouTuber. So we're gonna head up and hopefully find a spot in the state forest. We found ourselves a spot thanks to the campground host at the national park campground. She suggested coming out to the state park that's basically right next to the campground, and said there'd be a bunch of campsites, and there are. Found one at the top of a hill up here in the state forest. Little view through the trees over there, got a fire pit, and once again the fire pit has been used as a trash can, and there's toilet paper all around the outside of the campsite. So we're gonna be careful and just stick to the center of the campsite. It's just a shame that these places are ruined by people who think that the world is their dumpster. There are also some enormous tree stumps, like the one over my shoulder, which would definitely put the world's largest spruce to shame. So I'm gonna start setting up, and I think I'm gonna put the bug tent up again. If I was by myself, I wouldn't even bother, because there's just one or two stray mosquitoes. But since we've got the baby with us, we can put him on his play mat, and we don't have to worry about stuff biting him. The next morning, we set off to the north with the goal of making it to a mountaintop viewpoint that looks across to the Olympic National Park. Unfortunately, the road is closed. There's a big locked gate completely blocking the way behind me, and then just beyond that is a fairly significant washout where the road's really narrow, and I think that's probably why the excavator's here and probably why the road is closed as well. So we have found an alternative route. We just need to backtrack a short way, and then there's a road that goes across these mountains and reconnects with where we need to be. So it doesn't put us out too much. The detour took us through some really overgrown trails that looked like they hadn't been maintained in years. Bushes and branches were leaning across the road and dragging down the side of the truck the entire way. After a couple of miles of heavy pinstriping, we came out into a clearing and continued towards the overlook. The place that I was planning on camping tonight was a bald hilltop that had views across to the north, across to Vancouver Island. Unfortunately, the road to get there from here is signposted as having a washout 3.4 miles ahead. And I don't know if I really want to risk going 3.4 miles down a narrow, windy road for it to be impossible. Of course, it could be just fine. We just don't know. It just says washout on the sign. I am half tempted to just set up camp up here at the viewpoint. There is a fire ring up here, so people obviously do camp up here, but it's also a parking lot for the viewpoint, so we could have people coming up here to enjoy the sunset or coming up here for the sunrise, and I don't really want to be camped out in a parking spot. So I think what we're gonna do is head over to a spot that I saw on the drone when I was flying it around. There's no guarantee it's any good because I could only see it with the 7x zoom, but we'll give it a go and then save this as a backup.
You can drive on the left a little bit too. You're just dragging the whole right side through.
Dragging the left too. There's no like left or right drag. Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Okay, it was well worth coming down that really tight and overgrown and scratchy trail, because less than half a mile down it, came across this campsite with this view. And this isn't even the one that I saw from the drone. It's way better. I think we've been really lucky with the weather so far. The Pacific Northwest is obviously known for being incredibly rainy, and so far on this trip it's been sunny, it's been dry, and mostly clear skies as well. Until this morning, when obviously we woke up and it's drizzling, if not actually raining, pretty much constantly, and everything is soaked. And I think that's just normal for this part of the world. So we are going to pack up and then head back down the trail. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how the trail has changed overnight. We just reached the bottom of the hill and aired up because we have a significant portion of highway to go as we're heading all the way across to the Cascade Mountains, where we'll be meeting up with David from Off the Grind, and we're going to be doing some stuff with him before heading down through the Cascades, which I'm really looking forward to because we didn't get to do it really last year because there was too much snow.
If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's my goal to reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Right now, I'm not on track to reach it, and I need your help. It also means you won't miss the next episode where we head up into a beautiful spot in the Cascades.
There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone, now that you're gone.